actually stop. Actually stop. Why does Hodge like to bend over for this niche? Like, how many finals have we had where it's like some kind of variation of GE Saloon or GE 5-seater or UK 5-seater? Like, every freaking time it always ends up being a niche. I'm gonna call this the Jaguar 575. Always, there's always a freaking Jaguar 575. You know this because that car used to be Blossom Choice solely because of the fact no matter what Hutch freaking did, there was always a Jaguar 575, and every time there's a Jaguar 575, there was always, you know, BS like this, the Bentley flying spur and some ugly Jaguar. Why is this always a requirement for a tri-series? How many times has Jaguar been a brand in a tri-series? Like 6-7 times. It's not even funny. We've had multiple times 5 Jags back in the day. Recently we had like a Jag performance tire times 5. Like, seriously, this actually has to stop, please. Why? This is not a fun requirement. We just had that. Remember the last requirement we had? It was very interesting in a sense where, because like, I wouldn't say it's incredibly bad because the pack, we always have to think about the pack. Hutch always thinks about the pack when, or at least they should be really thinking about the pack when they want to do a tri-series, because the carpool, the pack is what people are gonna open to get the cars to win the tri-series. Like, I think we've talked about this so many times, okay? You cannot make a crappy pack and expect people to open it, because if you are opening really bad packs for a tri-series, then they've got you on a leash, and I don't want you to be on a leash. At least open a pack that you want, man. Like, this is just what am I looking for? I'm looking for non-prize. This was the last tri-series that we had. Like, I get it, it's a joke, it's funny, but I wouldn't call it horrendous. We've had a lot worse, okay? Why am I not calling this horrendous? Because 100% of the legendaries that you get are actually useful. You know, they have 100 plus handling, they have 100 plus MRA, they have low 0 to 60s, they're lightweight, you know what I mean? Like, the 924 Carrera GTP is actually pretty good. Well, actually not pretty good, it's really good. The Escort is pretty good. The Audi, I mean, I've had some owners talk to me about this, saying that this car is actually alright. It's medium ground clearance, 4-wheel drive, handles pretty well. I think it's also relatively light. Yeah, it is. Like, they're all okay. So this, although it's a bit of a joke, as in like, oh, here, only use 3 Ultras for this tri-series, in that regard was a bit of a joke. At least the pack was okay. But now we talk about the next one, and a lot of people are assuming that, and it seems to be the case. Initially, it was supposed to be like UK, US 5-seater petrol, but then that's the requirement for the prelims anyway. So now people are starting to think, oh, maybe the requirements are going to be, once again, Bentley. How many times we've seen this in the final? As well as Jaguar. Oh, how many times we've seen that in a final? And then last but not least, I don't even know why they want to add Oldsmobile to the mix, because it's not like Oldsmobile's gonna have anything that's gonna make a change in the final anyway. But yeah, let me just get a drink. I feel a lot better. The only thing that is not keeping me from going to the gym is like the fact that I might get a cardiac arrest, and I don't want to get that yet. And I don't even, I'm gonna get a medical checkup tomorrow, because if the doctor says I'm all good, I'm done. Like, I'm out of quarantine. I'm going back to what my life used to be. I'm feeling okay. I'm feeling like I need to rant about things again. Okay, so yeah, I think it was like 5-seaters, like Bentley, Jaguar, Oldsmobile, or whatever it is. Like, this you expect to sell packs with this? Like, look, man, at least the last pack, as weird and particular and funny as it was with the 3 ultra rares, at least you were getting rewarded with the legendaries that you were going to pull in general. I understand that final had 3 rain track sets, the one that we just had for the Koenigsegg, so if you had more than 2 of those legendaries, it was going to be useless. But this, you telling me that the Bentegas, the flying spur, nah, Nah, look at these epics. Once again, it's the frickin' Jaguar 575. It's always there. And why it used to be Blossom Choice was because this car was actually good. And when you think about it, look at it here. It's the best performance tire car. It is like the second lowest RQ, but it's the best one because the Bentleys suck. Unless we're going into a final where there's going to be a lot of rain again. But then again, if it is going to be a lot of rain, which will separate the use of the Flying Spurs from the 575s, which has been a car that has been overused in the past. I know that if you've owned this car max since, you know, the introduction of GE, this car would have probably won you 6-7 Tri-Series by now. If it was all wet, then yeah, they would just put the Jaguar I-Pace, and then it would just be a one-car final, because the I-Pace would be better than any legendary you could unpack. So then, what is it, an off-road final where you have to use the Bentegas? Then you're going to be forcing the players to use a really crappy car. Not to mention that there are no off-road tire or all-surface tire cars that you can get that are, you know, ultra rare or maybe below. Yeah, this one's a price car, so that doesn't even freaking count. I thought I already did non-price. Oh, okay, I guess not. But yeah, you see what I mean? Oldsmobile makes literally no point or effect to this. I really do not understand what this is, what's going on over here. Seriously, like, this is actually just sad. And if it was seats maybe 5 to 9 and they changed it to petrol, where do you even find that petrol? Does that even change anything? Yeah, it just takes out the I-Pace. They might actually do that just to take out the I-Pace. Yeah, they might actually do this just to literally take out the I-Pace and then make it all wet, and then you are forced to use the four-wheel drive Bentley. This is just dumb. Like I said, we don't know what the actual final requirements are going to be yet, but it's not just going to be UK, US times 5. Here, I'll tell you what, man. I'm kind of sick and tired of the person that's in charge of making these the designer, you know, making the requirements for Tri-Series. Like, if anything, if you're watching, buddy, like, honestly, take it from me, you should honestly, like, reassess your job. You're not doing a good job. This is not fun. I've already seen a million players already cry out that this is just a horrible freaking final requirement. Like, why? Like, you need to play the game to understand what requirements are fun and what requirements are just gonna piss players off. And right now, it seems, not even right now, just in general of every Tri-Series that we've had since like 2020, I would say that you have a 50% miss rate. You shouldn't have a 50% miss rate today, like almost 3 years after 2020, since, you know, we've had this weird Tri-Series, like, you know, I'm saying 2020 because before 2020 we were still seeing like the old school way of Tri-Series where we would see like ×5 brand, ×5 country, ×5 this. 2020 was when Tri-Series requirements got a bit more weird or a bit more niche, so that's why I'm only counting from then. But honestly, like, the guy that's designing the requirements, he doesn't know what he's doing half the time. So I'm just gonna do the work for you. How about that? Okay. So let's make some requirements which I think are going to be fun, and that's going to please at least a big, like, at least a majority, so at least 51% of the players. Because if you're telling me that Bentley, Jaguar, Oldsmobile, whatever 5-seat requirement is, you know, making more than 50% of the players happy, I'm actually going to be laughing my ass off. And it's the same thing for the last requirement as well. Like, the last requirement that we had for the Koenigsegg had a decent pack just because it's had 2 guaranteed good legendaries if you pulled a legendary. But the ultra rares were just abysmal. And the fact that, you know, the odds of getting ultra rares was the highest and you could only get 3 and you'd be getting a bunch of duplicates if you open a bunch of those packs, I don't think that isn't a fun experience for the player either anyway. So like I said, that was a funny pack. I'm not gonna say it's horrible, but I can say that this one for the Rezvani is horrible. Anyway, I want to make some requirements for you. I'm gonna do the dirty work here. It's not even that hard. I made these requirements literally in like 20 minutes. Like, it really wasn't that long at all. Drive, because we've seen enough Tri-Series with GTRs. And then I'm gonna also put in 2000s. Okay, so decades and years, 2000s. This is what we got. This is what we got for a final, and I think that this is actually gonna be pretty freaking fun. You know, a lot of people might have the Mazda Furai already. That's fine, because you could always just put in a little bit of wet just in here. But look at the carpool that we got over here. This is a pack that I feel like a lot of people would like to open. There's some new cars in here. You can play around with the saloons. There's also, you know, the Furai for people that are still looking forward to getting it. And then there's the Zanavi, which is a really good legendary as well, with good MRA and good handling. And look at the epics. I mean, the cars like the Lingenfelter, the Hayabusa, the Mustang FR500, the Viper SRT10. All of these cars are really enticing, and the best thing about these niche is that, look at this. This makes sense. You have a bulk of super rares, and then it slowly decreases in size from 23 ultra rares to 16 epics to 7 legendaries. That just makes sense. You know what I mean? That just makes sense. And that also means that if you are to open 15 of this pack, at least you'll be getting different cars every time instead of getting the same Lotus like 100 times in a row, or even worse, the same AC 100 times in a row. But what makes this niche just more special is the fact that there is good legendaries that are up for grabs. There is a very specialist car in the Cadillac 16, so, you know, let's say that there isn't any rain in the final, right? And you get the Cadillac 16. Yeah, it might not be super helpful in the final, but at least the player gets to be comforted by the fact that they know that this is the best standard tire car in the game. You know, at least rank-wise. This is the only legendary standard tire car left with the BMW going down, right? And then look at the epics. I'm sure that a lot of players will be happy with these epics. Cars like the Viper or the Lingenfelter with the most recent buff. This car is really strong now. Or the FR500. We've not seen a tri-series like this, and I think it would be completely fine. All right. Let's go with another one, okay? So we're gonna get rid of rear-wheel drive USA Japan in 2000. We're gonna keep non-prize cars, all right? Tires, there isn't gonna be nothing special over here, so we're gonna go into decades and years. Now we're gonna go to 2010s, okay? Now we're gonna go to 2010s. We're gonna go miscellaneous. We're gonna select medium. We've never had a final where it was ×5 medium only. Why don't we just do that? It's something new, and I feel like it's something that, you know, people will actually welcome. And last but not least, let's go Germany, okay? There we go. Since the introduction of World Expo, we've not actually had an Audi final. Now, I didn't want to just go straight up World Expo Audi because, to be completely honest with you, they do suck. So what makes this special is because I want silver linings in all of my, you know, final requirements. And at least in this one, we have the Porsche Panamera Turbo, which is one of the best medium ground clearance saloons in the game. I mean, it used to be the best until World Expo came around, and now there are those Taycans running around. But the Panamera Turbo is still a pretty decent legendary. It's still a good car to have in your arsenal, right? And it's the same thing for the epics. Not all of them are horrendous. You have cars like the Volkswagen CC, which is actually ridiculously strong. You have the BMW 750D X-Drive, which is also a very respectable car. And you have some, you know, new Audis in there. I know Hutch likes to implement new cars here and there, you know, to make them shine, and here you go. You got some new Audis in here. And then when it comes to ultra rares, there are actually some really good ultra rares. You have the BMW 440i, which is like one of your best German medium ground clearance cars now. You have the Mercedes AMG S63, amazing MRA, low 0 to 60 saloon and medium. You have the Maybach 57S, which is a Blossom choice. You have the Mercedes AMG S65, which almost was a Blossom choice. You have really good cars. You have the Opel Adam R2, which is, you know, might be useless in the final, but at least if you unpack that, you would get value in it elsewhere, in clubs, in single player events, and anything that requires off-road tires. You know what I mean? Like, this isn't the best in the world, but I still see that this could be a very reasonable tri-series. Not something like that Bentley bullshit that we're gonna get, where literally no car is gonna make me feel happy about unpacking. At least over here, there are some decent cars, and it makes for a decent final once again. As you can see, you know, there's a nice little congruency over here. Legendary is the smallest amount, epic and ultra rares are about the same count, and there is a healthy amount of super rares that you can use as well. Now, let's go for another one. Let's go for a tri-series that I've been asking for the longest time, but for some reason Hutch doesn't want to do it, okay? We've had German saloons, we've had British saloons, we've had Japanese saloons, we've had Italian saloons for a final. But for some reason, you racist people, you don't like us Americans, do you, huh? Because we've never had an American saloon final. Like, what the actual heck? Are you still mad about the Boston Tea Party? Are you still mad that we're independent from your King George? I don't understand, bro. We need an American saloon final. Why can't we get an American saloon final? This is actually really nice. You get cars that people want. People want the CT6. People want the Charger SRT Hellcat. People want the Charger Juice. You know why? Because they're good at what they do. The Cadillac 16, once again, is a great car. This would be another Tri-Series final. And this one, I'm kind of using Hutch's game against themselves. Because this is like, oh, you've done saloons for every country besides the US. What gives? This isn't even the worst country to do saloon finals on. We had to do Italian saloons. Do you know how shit that was? Do you remember this final? This was back when the Di Tommaso didn't exist. This was when the Alfa Giulia was the only legendary that you could have gotten. Do you remember this final? They pulled this shit on us and they wouldn't do the American one. It doesn't make any fucking sense. And the last one, okay? This one is going to be pretty interesting, I would say, but it would definitely sell packs, okay? So this is going to be UK and Japan, and once again, we're going to go to 2000s, okay? So we're going to go to decades and years, we're going to go to 2000s, and then we're going to go to rear-wheel drive, okay? Rear-wheel drive and miscellaneous, we're going to go to low. There's a lot over here, and then last but not least, we're going to go to rarity, epic, ultra rare, super rare, rare, uncommon. Okay, this. Look, I understand there isn't a legendary, but does that mean that, oh, if a pack doesn't give you a legendary, people are not going to buy it? Not necessarily, okay? Because if the epics that are provided in that pack are really freaking good, people are still gonna open it. Let me ask you this question right now, and you can comment down below, okay? For 1599, what pack would you rather open? Would you rather open what the potential final pack for the Rezvani is going to be, where the 4 legendaries that you can get are going to be freaking Bentegas or a Flying Spur or a Jaguar F-Pace? Or would you rather open a pack like this where you're guaranteed, well, not guaranteed, but you might not be getting a legendary, but you are going to get really good epics like the Farbout and the Hayabusa and the Aston and the Caterham? Answer me that. I think anyone can tell you this right now. They'd rather open a pack with really good epics and no legendaries than a pack with really bad legendaries and really bad epics. The thing is, people want to feel like they're getting their money's worth, okay? Like, don't just issue a pack that has legendaries just because it has legendaries. If they all suck, nobody should be buying them. And if you are buying them, then you're not helping with the problem here, okay? Like, seriously, like, this would be a pretty interesting final. Like, if Hutch ever wanted to experiment with a Tri-Series final where legendaries were not allowed, try something like this. Because at least the epics that people may pack are really good. Literally everything from this Lotus Exceed Skura all the way to the Farbout is a good epic, at least, if not a great or a fantastic epic. Okay, like, it just doesn't make any sense. Like, this would make for a great pack. This would make for an amazing pack. I mean, once again, you can get a Lotus 340R, you can get a Lotus Exceed S1, you can get a TVR Tamora, you can get a Jaguar XKR, which has like amazing MRA, I think. No, the other one is amazing MRA. This one is the one with not the good MRA, but you get a Lotus Elise SC. You know, you get some really strong cars here. So yeah, those are my 4 submissions for a Tri-Series final requirement, which are all better. I'm like General Grievous right now. I know I'm still recovering. I feel fine. I feel healthy, but I'm still recovering, and my throat is still like, you know, sick. But I gotta just talk, man. I just gotta rant. Like, bro, I'm sick and tired of having crappy requirements. Please make something fun, something the players will enjoy. Just put some time and effort into your Tri-Series requirements, please. Okay, alright, I'm done ranting. My voice is telling me I need to calm down. I've talked way too much at way too high of a frequency for way too long. Anyway, I hope you guys have a great day. Remember to stay safe, and if you have any idea of what would make a good requirement down in the comments below for the majority of the players, something that will be fun, let me know. Alright, anyway, I hope you guys have a great day. Remember to stay safe, wash your hands, and blossom out. Peace.
Bro, this song just makes me so happy.
Me too.
Imagine being Asian in the 50s, looking nifty, leather jacket, looking sleek, look like Presley, look so deadly. Got a jukebox back at home, feeling jazzy, turn it on and play it slow, like the movies with the ladies.
They so fine.
Imagine being Asian in the 50s, looking nifty, leather jacket, looking sleek, look like Presley, look so deadly. Got a jukebox back at home, feeling jazzy, turn it on and play it slow, like the movies with the ladies.
They so fine.
Sit back, relax in my Bonneville.